We will see if we get anybody. Dale has been very consistent, and she just emailed to say that she's not going to be able to make it. Her father's in the ER.
Oh my goodness, that's not
Yeah.
good.
I do want to catch up.
Right. All right. So welcome everyone. Today we're talking about strategies for getting started with AR, VR technologies. And this is exciting stuff. This stressed me out a little bit putting this together because it's a new frontier. There's a lot to know. There's a lot that I'm still learning about it. And it's really like you think you can't do it without, well, you actually need devices. I mean, you need at least a computer, if not, preferably a headset and, smartphones or iPads and things like that. So it's definitely it's a growing technology. It's has amazing educational implications. And so hopefully in the next, 4, 5, 6 years, that more schools will be purchasing VR headsets and making those available to classroom teachers. Remember back in the day when there was one Chromebook cart to share amongst 3 or 4 or 5 teachers, or the iPad cart. And so I kind of see the VR headsets being in a cart mode and having them to be something that you check out from the library or something like that, to use on occasion. It's not I haven't heard of schools. I just don't know enough schools that actually have them. Every technology conference I go to, there's always vendors there that are selling VR headsets for schools, and they swear that there's thousands of schools purchasing them, and I'm sure there are. I just don't know where they are. So if you're in a school, I don't know if Jessica or Christy, you have any VR headsets at your school or maybe in your home. But if you have a way of playing around with one and trying out one, I'm highly encourage that. So today we're going to be talking about starting out with virtual tours, virtual simulations, virtual field trips, which are a little bit different than tours, augmented reality, and AR, VR platforms. So virtual tours and virtual field trips probably aren't something that is new to you. I'm sure you're familiar with it. But virtual tours, they can be accessed with or without a headset. And so I have one of my VR headsets here, and this is on MetaQuest. And I don't know if you've seen them before, but they have, the eyepieces inside, and that directly connects to the internet and to your app store. And so you download apps to use with your headset, and your headset that comes with 2 controllers, one for the left and the right hand. As technology advances, we're probably going to be needing these less and less, but I have no doubt about that. And the goggles are now the new MetaQuest goggle, the MetaQuest 3. It's lighter weight, so this one is pretty heavy. So the complaints with this one is that when people wear it, it's really heavy on the face, and after a while, your neck starts to get sore if you're not used to it. And so you have to build up those neck muscles. I have one at home, and I use it every day for a VR workout that I do. I have an app called Supernatural, and it's like it's revolutionized exercising. It's so much fun. But if I'm in my VR headset too long, I don't get headaches, and I don't have, any problems like that. I just start getting a sore neck after a while just because of the weight of this. But if you don't have a virtual headset, a VR headset, you can still do virtual tours. You can still do, oh, it's beeping. I turned it on. You can still do a lot of things in virtual reality with just a Chromebook or a laptop or smartphones and iPads. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take you on some virtual museum tours, some building tours. And so these are all events and things that you could do with your own students. I tried to get a variety of topics here So we have some, government topics, language arts, and some, world topics, museums in London and the Louvre. And so we're going to be visiting a lot of different websites today and watching a lot of different videos in this presentation to give you a taste of some of the VR experiences that you can do with your students. So if you start out, this is discovering the Capitol, and you see how it has the icons here that make the image interactive. So this is going to be a virtual tour. So we're going to click on the arrow, and it's going to take us inside of the Capitol building. And I don't think no, this one doesn't have audio. I can't do a lot of movement with this one. So that takes you into a video, and then it takes us to a page where it provides the history of the Capitol. And I learned putting this presentation together that it was actually burned down during the War of 1812. And I didn't realize that British forces actually occupied Washington, D.C. So that shows you how little I know about the War of 1812. But they burned it down, but the base of the structure was sound enough that they were able to rebuild it and put the dome on top. So a lot of these pictures are interactive where they'll enlarge. And so it's not super virtual reality, but it is interactive. And so we'll go back here, and now we can view more of Capitol. Let's see if we can go back. Go back here. And we can discover the dome. And for students, like, this would be so interesting for them to read through on their own pace, visit the extra links, and read through the timelines here. So that's their virtual reality of the virtual tour of the Capitol building. So lots of information. We can't be there in person, but you can have some kind of clicking and control of and of the pace of the images and things like that. So it's not, like I said, it's a virtual tour, not necessarily virtual reality. The White House tour, this one is more virtual reality because it includes 360 degrees, and you can move and interact with the picture. So we'll visit this for a minute. So here we have the floor plan, and we're going to zoom in, and you can see that it has hot spots throughout. And so we can click on a hot spot and see that a little bit better, but I can also click and drag and move up and down the image. I can also, it has the icon where I can view it in VR. So if I full screen it here, and I had a VR headset, I could look at this in VR as well. So it'd seem much more realistic by being there, but it has these nice hotspots that provide additional information and content. So let's go back out, and we're going to go to, let's see if we can get back to the floor plan. Let's see. Let's see, here's the, so we'll jump to another place. So again, we can watch it in VR. Here's the personal theater. Of course, the president would have his own theater. East Garden Room. So in each of these places, there is the ability to interact with the hotspots and learn about the different artifacts in the room and move around. So I'm just doing this with my mouse and my computer, nothing special, but I'm able to go on a virtual tour. I'm able to choose what I want to learn about, what I want to focus on. And in some ways on the website, it said that you'll probably learn more on the virtual tour than you will in the actual tour, because you can spend as much time and investigate each artifact at your own leisure. So I just think this is so interesting. And I was having a lot of fun just learning more about the White House and the different, rooms and the different artifacts that it has throughout it. So another way just to bring some virtual reality into your students' learning experiences. So the next one, we have a couple different tours of Anne Frank's house. So typical book that's read in usually 8th or 9th grade is Anne Frank. And this one goes to a YouTube video. But they have a virtual reality version of this that you can do in your headset. So it's giving you that that experience of what it would be like in a VR headset.
What's the link to that?
I can share the link to my presentation and then you can have all the links. This is Anne Frank House VR for the Oculus. Here, I'll just put the link in the chat here. Okay. So, so for the VR headset, that would be kind of what it would look like. And here is another tour I found.
When you visit a place like the Anne Frank house, you become aware that history is the work of human beings. What we need to learn, if we want to learn from history, is the fact that in each and every one of us, there's the capacity of doing terrible things. But there is always a choice. There's always a choice. When Otto Frank, Anne's father, came back to Amsterdam in 1945 and got the diary of his daughter and started to read it, he immediately knew that it should be a message to new generations. From that point of view, the Anne Frank House has always been an educational organization, very much focused on young people who we hope to help build a better world. What virtual reality can do is give people a sense of the house and how it looked like when Anne was in hiding, when she was writing her diary. And all of a sudden, the space starts to tell the story.
When you can use virtual reality to transport people to the Anne Frank house, but also give them the authentic representation of what the actual house looked like when the 8 people in hiding were there, I think that's where it all connected for us. Everybody who takes that experience gets a sense of what it must have been like for Anne, and I think there's no other way to do that than in virtual reality.
The Anne Frank House does not limit itself to Amsterdam. We carry out many projects across the world with hundreds of thousands of young people. And this VR gives us the opportunity to share with them a house that they cannot physically visit.
Now that I've been in her house, it feels like I've stepped into her life. It's not just written letters in a book anymore. It came to life.
The past itself doesn't change. What does change are the questions we ask.
To build up a future, you have to know the past.
So I thought that was just really beautiful to watch that. And I remember teaching myself Anne Frank and her diary and not having books and not having pictures, not really having any other resources besides the book itself to teach the novel. And if I could do something like this, and even if I was just showing the videos of what it looks like, I think that would even be so much more impactful. But having that VR would actually virtually take them there, would be an amazing experience. Now, these other two, if you're teaching anything about art or history, the British Museum has a 360 tour. And these are kind of fun because you can actually see how my cursor is turned into a hand. So this is just from YouTube where I'm navigating around here. So a minute, it'll take us inside here, I believe. So again, I can turn all around. And did you know you could do this from a YouTube video? So if I were in a VR headset, I know this is a little loud, sorry. If I were in a VR headset, then I would be using my controllers to navigate and to move. What's cool about the British Museum, I've been there one time, and they actually have the Rosetta Stone. If you've ever heard of the Rosetta Stone, it has the actual Rosetta Stone there that has all of the 3 or 4 different languages that help to unlock ancient civilization languages for us. But there's really a cool way, experience that you can just move and navigate around the different museums. The Louvre also has a little bit better one than that one. So we're going to visit the Louvre real fast. And so they have a whole list of virtual tours. And there's, the Mona Lisa. But we can go look at this exhibit here, the founding myths from Hercules to Darth Vader. And again, these are virtual tours that you can visit just from your laptop or Chromebook. Again, you should see similar things like the hotspots. And so just with my mouse, I can click to navigate. I can move around the room. I can get closer to a piece of art and learn more. Well, this one doesn't have, oh, yes, it does. It has information right there. There's information. So that's in French, and it has an English down here. And then I can go back. Okay. I don't know why I didn't go back. Let's try it again. Okay. I'm not navigating it very well. Okay. So I can go forward. I can learn about the information and then click on the X right there. There we go. From up here on the map, I can go to different parts of the exhibit. And just think of your students and how much fun they would have. So that must be the Darth Vader mask right there. It's all a little bit blurry. I'm not sure why, but so just following the arrows, and I feel like I'm having all the fun here. So, but it gives us the direction that we're facing. We can look at different parts of the room. And just navigate by the floor map. So we'll just go back here. So there's lots of different tours of the Louvre that your students can experience, because so most major museums all provide virtual tours now, and it's just something that almost all museums do. All right, so there's also virtual tours that have to do with math. Here's one I found about London and New York City, and a virtual tour of the cell. So we'll just show this one real fast. And so if you had a virtual reality headset, you could put this on, and this was what you would see, is that you could put the math the object right in your space here. And this looks more like, more like augmented reality, but you can manipulate the mathematical problem and change the variables in a VR math module. So there's lots of different math apps for VR, which I found really interesting. Let's go look at the cell. This one is really interesting too. Again, just on YouTube, because that's how they connect in our VR headset. And this was just taking a minute to load here.
This project was made possible by the Google Making and Science team. Here we are inside of a human cell. Cells are the building blocks of living things, and your body is made up of about 40 trillion of these cells.
We'll just
As you
watch a
can
minute
see,
or two of
A
it.
cell is a dynamic place. There are a lot of different things happening at the same time. Look around and check out the environment. Turn to the sides and look all the way behind you.
So again, with just
Tilt
my
your head
mouth,
back and look above you, and look down below. If the cell actually looked like this, you'd be tiny, about 100 nanometers tall, which means that about 3,000 of you stacked on top of each other would be about as tall as a grain of sand. Most of the large structures that you see around you are called organelles. They're like the body organs of the cell. A lot of the smaller things look like they're floating, and they kind of are. The inside of the cell, called the cytoplasm, is filled with a jelly-like substance called cytosol. You'll see areas with lots of small particles floating around. Many of these particles are proteins. You find tons of proteins in cells, and they have all sorts of different jobs. A cell also spends a lot of its time making new proteins. If you tilt your head back and look at the very top of the cell, you can sort of see the cell membrane, which is like a flexible skin that wraps around the whole cell and separates it from the outside. Towards the top of the cell, you'll also...
So I just think that is really neat. You can do virtual reality with just your Chromebook. And hopefully you notice that my cursor turns to a hand, and then I can grab and move and really experience it. This is so much more impactful by being able to be inside the cell. I remember the assignment where we had to color the cell and color the different parts of the cell, and that was 2D, and that was fine, but it didn't really, impact myself or, my other students the same way as actually feeling like you're inside of a cell. I mean, even though we're not in a VR headset, that still was really impressive how it made us feel like, wow, this is what it must be like to be inside of a cell. So, we don't have a VR headset, but we're experiencing VR today, which hopefully is fun. Here's one, another virtual reality 360 visit to London. And so here we have Big Ben. And then again, I can turn. Here's the London Eye. And here's another view of Big Ben. And again, I'm manipulating the 360 image. Here's Westminster Abbey. And so this is just a 3-minute 360-degree 360-degree image, but it's allowing us to interact, to look closely, and to feel like you're kind of part of it. So here's Buckingham Palace, the Tower of London, Tower Bridge. I love that pine cone skyscraper they have there. Here again, Tower Bridge. And just another simple and easy way to have a VR experience. There is one also of New York City, right? You wouldn't expect anything less.
New York City, the Big Apple, Gotham,
Whatever the name, this place needs no introduction. And our journey begins from the top of the rock at the Rockefeller Center. Take it all in. Built in the midst of the Great Depression, the Rockefeller Center represents the ambition and grandeur that has come to define New York City. It's a city within a city. Open public spaces, that famous ice skating rink with the gold statue, NBC studios, and Radio City Music Hall. Grand Central Terminal still stands as one of New York City's most cherished landmarks. Maybe because it's history.
So I just think these are just super fun that you can do with your students. So we'll go on. So virtual simulations is another way that you can get started with VR with your students. Virtual simulations, yes, they can be done in headsets, but they don't have to be. They can be done also on computers. Many simulations that you'll find will be on just on a regular computer. A lot of it is content that's in a software program that you need subscriptions to. So I tried really hard to find some simulations that were free. And so hopefully you enjoy them. One that my first simulation that I ever did was froggets, and I'm not showing this to gross anybody out. Hopefully everybody had high school biology. They remember dissecting a frog. There's a website now where they actually have from high school to college to veterinary level of animal dissections and animal simulations to study the anatomy and physiology of different animals. So this is just a video of the program, because the regular, you can see how he's, let me turn off the sound. You can see how the person is interacting with it. So he's doing it on an iPad, and I did it on a computer using a mouse. And so the reason why you would do this is to practice the dissection before the students actually did a lab, or if you don't have the materials for the lab and you're not able to get the frogs, then you can do it. And then sometimes you just have students that refuse to, take part in animal dissections, but then they can do a virtual one and not harm any animals. And so there's lots of different reasons why virtual simulations are great to study. You don't actually have to have the item there, and you can do that, and you can experience that learning. There's also lots of different medical simulations. Any of you familiar with nursing programs, medical programs? They have simulation labs that are entire rooms. They have, and I'll show you some videos. I think I have, oh yeah, medical simulation here. But let me show you about some of the educational possibilities in the metaverse that we might be experiencing in the next several years.
In the family. So we're gonna have an astrophysicist in the family.
Actually, I have to write this paper. Will you help me?
Let's take a closer look. What part of the solar system are we talking about?
Saturn.
If you were taking astrophysics, you could study in the metaverse.
Did you know the rings are made up of billions of icy particles?
Really?
Look at this.
You're ready to do that paper now, right?
Yeah.
In the metaverse, you'll be able to teleport not just to any place, but any time as well. Ancient Rome. Imagine standing on the streets, hearing the sounds, visiting the markets to get a sense of the rhythm of life over 2,000 years ago. Imagine learning how the forum was built by actually seeing the forum get built right in front of you.
So again, exciting things coming to our schools, coming to our students, experiencing the metaverse. Here is a medical simulation.
Located in the Sancheng district of Xiangyang in Hubei province. Guangxing ancient town reproduces Xiangyang's unique Chu culture, Han culture, and the culture of the Three Kingdoms. This
I gotta remember to exit out of my, okay, here we go. Here's a medical simulation.
And as you can see, this is a significant fraction. The scalpel. Look at the side of the patient's neck to verify exactly. You can now see the bones and fractures clearly. Place the forceps back on the frame. Place the screwdriver. A very successful operation. Nicely done.
So again, in the medical world, they're using simulations. Doctors are using it to practice before surgeries. Medical students are using it to train and learn medical procedures. If you are interested in using simulations in your classroom, you need to be familiar with PhET, P-H-E-T. These are free science and math simulations, and they have over 1.5 billion simulations delivered. And they have in physics, chemistry, math, earth science, and biology. So this, I believe it's a nonprofit. That's why they're asking for donations, and that's how it keeps their content free. So they have language translations as well. And they have over 3,000 lessons that teachers have submitted and 167 interactive simulations. So let's explore some of these sims. Now, I'm not a science teacher, so we will look at, I don't see the one that I saw earlier. Oh, this is the one I was playing with, greenhouse effect, but I'm not sure what you teach. I'm just going to kind of show you some of the topics here. So they have, and just in the one, this is just some of the free ones that I have right now. So circuits, collision labs, ratio, proportion, number line, gravity, molecular polarity, Faraday's law, balloons, and static electricity. So I looked at the greenhouse effect one just to see, you know, is it free? Can I access it? And I definitely could. So I pushed play. And I clicked on waves. And so the simulation now begins. And so I click start sunlight. And so the sunlight comes down and then it bounces off the ground and the greenhouse gases rise up. And so with it all balanced, you can kind of see the temperature here rising. But if I go over here, and here's what makes it a simulation, that I can manipulate the variables and you see the temperature rising, or I can lower it and the temperature goes down. I can also look at it over here and see what the land was like during the ice age and the greenhouse gases. And then what it might be like in 1750. And again, I'm looking at the temperature here, looking at the amount of greenhouse gases in 1950. The temperature's gone up some more. And in the year 2020. So in PhET, like it's definitely something that you should look at. Lots of sims. So physics, so we said there someone teaches math. So again, here's 50 results for math. So I'll just scroll down here and just show some of the math topics here. And so these are just really fun, and it really brings math alive because they're actually doing experiments. They're seeing what electrical engineers would be dealing with. You know, really just making it alive, making it real, less abstract and more concrete. So lots of different free simulations that you can just use here. So again, remember PHET, P-H-E-T. It's a great place to get some free resources and really, have your students really understand to a deeper level different math and science concepts. Oh, good. Okay. All right. So moving right along. So virtual field trips, and I think everybody knows what these are. They allow students to see places they cannot easily visit in person. Visiting remote geographical locations gives students a richer and more comprehensive perspective on the world around them and brings to life topics that they are studying. So there's a couple of different places that you can access virtual field trips. I think everyone has heard of Nearpod. And if you haven't used it in a while, go back and revisit it. It provides a lot of free resources for virtual field trips. So we'll just visit a dinosaur lesson. Don't worry about logging in. I'm just gonna show you. So here's, I know we learned about dinosaurs in elementary school, but this is a good example. Okay, we're going to skip the video. And we're going to look at some of the 3D slides here. So now we've got some 360 images that the students can control and manipulate. Okay, and remember, these are resources that you can build in Nearpod. So now we can watch the Tyrannosaurus walk. And you can move it around a little bit. I mean, wouldn't students get a kick out of this? I mean, really. Now we can see their cranium and get a really close look at it. And then we have a couple other different dinosaurs here. And another one, and a velociraptor. Okay, now we're going to do the virtual field trip. So we can move the screen around as far as we want to see dinosaurs. And again, you can build this in Nearpod. So here I am clicking and dragging. And if I had a VR headset, it would be, really neat to put that on and have the students experience it. But if you don't, and you just have Chromebooks, you can still do that. But we could enter the VR right here. So they're not moving here, but this is just a 360 image. And if dinosaurs were in our environment, I'm not sure. I can't remember where this exhibit is. I used to know. But we can visit this dinosaur exhibit here. And, then there's the Nearpod lessons and interactions, and we can draw pictures and do things like that. So Nearpod, really a lot of fun. You can, put, engagement activities in it. You can put virtual reality. You can put simulations in it. NASA, and I don't know, how many are interested in NASA or teach or use NASA in STEM lessons. But they have lots of virtual tours and apps. And you can have a 3D virtual tour of the International Space Station. So lots of different, videos and resources and interactive experiences here from NASA as well. We Are Teachers has 40 different educational or field trips here, 40 amazing virtual field trips, I meant to say. And They have lots of classroom teacher resources. Take a tour of Amazon for different Amazon careers. Here's a zoo, polar cam, aquariums, different art museums, national park, planetarium. So there might be some fun things there on We Are Teachers. Discovery Education, I think a lot of schools have access to Discovery Education. Again, lots of great virtual field trips here. So Manufacturing the Future of Aviation.
Boeing is one of the world's largest aerospace companies, celebrated for its airplanes, helicopters, rockets, satellites, and more.
Boeing is also known for its diverse and highly skilled workforce, with more than 140,000 employees in over 65 countries worldwide.
But did you know that Boeing is at the forefront of aviation manufacturing, using mechatronics, robotics, and ergonomics to help employees build its fleet?
Hey everyone, I'm Nikita coming to you from Renton in Washington State.
I'm Olivia.
So again, find the resources on Discovery Education, lots of great things there. And if you're thinking like, oh, this is gimmicky or this is silly, the virtual reality and augmented reality, it's really not, because I have a couple of videos just showing you that people are learning and using these in their jobs now, that they're using virtual reality, they're using augmented reality in their workspace in highly technical jobs. Generation Genius, I'm just going to skip that for now. We're kind of running short on time. I put a lot into this because I thought, I always over plan. I'm just a second. Somebody's trying to call me. Hold on. Okay. All right. Oops, we went the wrong direction. Okay. Virtual sim. Okay, going ahead. Okay, so now we're transitioning to augmented reality. And so with augmented reality, you can do this with, like is showing here, with a smartphone or an iPad, or you can do it with a virtual reality headset. So this is usually how you experience virtual reality, is through a screen, because you're looking at a screen. And so what it's doing, it's overlaying a digital model in your actual environment, in your real environment. And so it's blending the real and the digital world together. So augmented reality, we have, it's used in a lot of different ways, and you might have used some of this on your own, like just by shopping on Amazon, or maybe trying on glasses virtually on Zenny. Has anyone ever done that? I do that. You upload your picture and you scan your face, and then you try out the new frame. So that's augmented reality. IKEA and other stores, that you can virtually put the furniture in your room or your space. I know you can do that on Amazon. I think AR, I don't know where it's at. I know it's used a lot in business and commerce and industry. I know it's used in museums. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not, I don't know why it's not further along, but it hasn't gone away. And so we're still using it. We see it a lot in entertainment, like Snapchat. So if you've ever put a filter on, put bunny ears on, or, change your hairstyle in your filter. We know augmented reality got really big when Pokemon Go came out. We're going to visit in a few minutes Merge EDU, and CoSpaces EDU uses augmented reality. Students can code and create their own virtual objects. And then Wonderscope app also is a storybook app that uses augmented reality, and puts the shapes and images into your environment. So those are some apps to check out. So here I found this video, and this is, you mentioned it, we thought it would be farther along. This is what they're predicting in 2030, how augmented reality will be able to develop. So we'll watch this for a few minutes.
In 2030, augmented reality is changing the world forever. For example, AR glasses are becoming mainstream. AR glasses look identical to regular pairs of glasses, and they're worn by people from all walks of life in every major city. You're able to use your AR glasses to access applications pertaining to phone calls, emails, music, maps, and games. Some AR glasses are even starting to allow people to use hand gestures to control these apps. Movies and video games appear on 2D screens that overlay your environment. Additionally, you can have video calls with people without picking up a smartphone. You can even use speech to display AI-generated images and videos using your AR lenses. From the outside of the lenses, no one can tell which applications you have active. They're fitted with LiDAR sensors, enabling 3D interpretations of your environment. AR contact lenses are growing in popularity and functionality as well. They're expected to largely replace AR glasses in the next 10 to 30 years. Number 2, AR-generated text is becoming mainstream. AI assistants can generate text on your lenses to guide you through any situation. Whenever you speak with someone who's speaking another language, your AR lenses will display translated text to you in real time. People who have hearing loss can have text automatically displayed for them as well when people are talking to them. If you're someone who gives presentations or you're an actor or musician, you no longer have to memorize vast amounts of material. Using AR glasses, the words will appear on your lenses as you perform for an audience. This is also helpful during job interviews and dates when you want to say the precise phrases that will help you achieve your desired outcomes. And when you're in a foreign country and look at text on a sign or a billboard, that text will visually translate into your native language. Number 3, shopping is becoming enhanced by AR. When you walk through grocery stores and malls, your AR devices and apps will display product information such as product prices, grams of protein, and sugar content. Soon, you could ask an AI assistant how to cook a specific meal, and it will direct you to all the food items that are part of its recipe. Additionally, as you drive and walk down streets that support this technology, your AR lenses will display the prices and amenities of any house or apartment for sale. Number 4, AR is enhancing the education system. Students in middle and high schools are using 3D animated holograms to gain a better understanding of topics such as biology, anatomy, cosmology, geometry, and more. Because of the ability to rotate these holograms in any direction and change their sizes, students can understand these concepts from previously unattainable perspectives. Students also run scientific and mathematical simulations in 3D space and can view the results from every conceivable angle. For example, students can see how medications affect various human body organs at cellular and molecular levels, and they can adjust multiple physical conditions on virtual planets to see how those conditions affect their ability to support life. Number 5, outdoor and indoor navigation is being augmented. When you're walking.
Okay, so yeah, you've made a good point. The thing with AR is that you can actually use it on shared devices. So if you're not familiar, I wanted to show you first like what AR could do and what they're projecting it could do. Basically, they need to develop the glasses and get the glasses to roll out, as popular as our iPhones are, that, and how often we upgrade our iPhones. There is a lot of possibility for AR. In the classroom though, and this is something that MergeCube and MergeEDU, you need a subscription for. And so I have a MergeCube here. But with the Merge apps, they have some free content. So you don't necessarily need a cube to actually use the augmented reality. And so students can share an iPad and view the augmented reality on the iPad very easily without having to have lenses. So so let's just watch this quick video here on what MergeCube is. And catch compliance 2D. I would imagine it is. It's a pretty popular Merge EDU. And I don't know how much student data they're actually collecting. I think it's more of teacher resources and the teacher providing the content and putting the apps on, on the iPads or using it from the computer. I don't know about the 2D on Merge EDU, but we have a couple minutes left, and so I'm going to talk to you about a couple different places where you can do AR, VR platforms. So we did talk about Nearpod. We did talk about Merge EDU, and Class VR. I see this everywhere. And anytime I type VR into my computer or anytime I go to a tech conference, this is kind of one of the bigger companies that's selling virtual reality headsets and all of the software that goes with it for schools and making sure it's compliant for school compliancy. ThingLink, I think I've mentioned it in an earlier presentation, but this is where you can actually have your students make 3D 360-degree virtual experiences. You can create tours. Students can experience, create virtual tours and virtual field trips. So this is the software where they can actually create those experiences with the hot links or the hyperlinks. Hotspots, that's what I'm trying to think of, hotspots here. So this is one that I made. That's not a 360-degree image by any means, but just to show you, you can put hotspots on image, whether it's a static image or 360-degree image, and it can contain content. And so students can explore this. So this is different than creating a PowerPoint or a Google slide presentation, because students are navigating it and they're doing it on their own pace. And you can put links in it, you can put music, you can put sound, you can put videos in. So this one has sound. You have, like I said, you can put any kind of content in a ThingLink. And this is Ed2 law compliant. It checks off all the bells and whistles. It's ADA compliant. You can do just like dozens and dozens of different types of projects with ThingLink. So let me show a different one. Here's like a campus tour where they took the images and they put the hotspots on there. And so you can view the map, you can, start your journey. So we can go and, look at inside the different buildings, look inside the labs. I'm not really sure. Oh, that has video there. So this is, another way of creating a virtual tour without having to be there. But students can actually do that on their own. You can even they've used ThingLink for museum tours. And so this looks very much like the Louvre or the other museums that we visited with the hotspots. And so with your own camera on your smartphone, you can go into a place and do a 360-degree image, like with your panorama, and use your own images to upload in ThingLink, and then you can add the hotspots and put in the content and put in all the information. But hopefully you're thinking like, wow, that's really cool. That's just like the White House tour or the Capitol tour that had, you know, and the Louvre and some of the others that had the hotspots that you could experience. So ThingLink is one of my favorite new programs, and I could just spend a whole hour just teaching them on ThingLink. So, and here's one that, and ThingLink is really shareable, and they give you embed codes and URLs. So I could actually embed it in here. So I did a Bitmoji classroom and created like a sample, like not a syllabus, but like maybe like classroom rules and policies for like the beginning of a class, you know, just to make it fun instead of having to read everything in a syllabus. But lots of different things that you can do with ThingLink. And it has an AR version, so you can download the app, and businesses have used it for augmented reality as well. So it's not just an education platform, because museums are using it, businesses are using it. So like industry as well as education. So it's a neat program. There's lots of possibilities with it. So with that, I am done.
Very cool. I wish we could meet in person, because that would be fun to just to spend some time just to go give people time to just play with these things.
Right, yeah. I feel like I'm having all the fun by being able to do all the manipulating myself.
Yeah. So maybe next year that's what we can try next year. I don't know if we can convince anybody to actually come in.
We'll have to have lunch or pizza or something,
Right.
sweets or some food.
Well, thank you. I don't know how much they learned, but I learned a lot, and it was fantastic. I was excited about all these.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, good. So somebody else has seen ThingLink before. Fantastic. Oh, and you used it for a virtual open house during COVID. Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming, everyone. I hope you
All
enjoyed.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.